Okay, I think you should be able to hear me now. It takes sometimes a second to come in. I need to talk to you about what God has been showing me. Some was just a few minutes ago, and the other was a few days ago. And He hasn't elaborated on it. So I need to give you what I call golden nuggets, which I did last night in service when He said, as I was talking to somebody and He showed up and gave a word to them, that your weakest point is His greatest strength. Now, it's also true for God, but it's also true for your enemy. Hi, Matthew. It's also true for your enemy. Your weakest point gives him leeway to get in there. And so the one thing he showed me first, I'll go in order. The one thing he showed me, not yesterday, but the day before, and I was in worship time with him in the morning, and he said that we need to have the childlike faith. We need to come to him and act like a child would. And a child does not ask their father, questions his authority or questions his meaning, his reasoning. He wants us to walk in total faith in the joy of the Lord. If you notice, no matter what's going on, there's always joy in a child. They're always just, it's okay. They're in the moment. Okay. And that's what God wants us to do. And the reason I say that is he showed me that too many of us are so wrapped up in our own emotions and dealing with whatever's going on in our lives and worried about what's coming and trying to figure out how long we have and what to do. And do you see what I mean? It's all worry and anxiety and fear, and it's all questioning God as to what to do instead of just soaking in Him. Just have that time with Him, walking in pure faith. Okay. And I see why He's bringing this up, because this morning I've been talking about faith with somebody. And then I was sitting outside a minute ago talking to my husband about faith with what's going to be taking place tomorrow. And all of a sudden, the Lord downloaded this to me, and it's very quick and to the point. Wisdom needs to be with faith, not blindly. It's wisdom. Now, let me try to explain that. There are things, if you go back into your life, where you've had to stand in faith, God has you do your part. You work that faith, and you have to have wisdom. If you just ran around willy nilly, well, I'm trying to find a way to explain it because He just said this to me. And then when I came in here and I started to pray about it, and I started worshiping a little, I said, Lord, I need to talk to them. I need to tell them what you're showing me about wisdom. And one thing He said to me was, if you're not careful and walking in the wisdom of the Father with your faith, you can wind up running with emotion only, if that makes any sense. You need to have the wisdom to tell the difference between emotion and true faith. All right? Because we can have the faith to move mountains, right? But if it's not true faith, or if it's mixed with too much emotion, you might miss what you're supposed to be doing. Okay. So, just like it's going to rain, it's going to have a thunderstorm. You shut your windows. You prepare for the storm that is coming. We're to prepare for the storms that are coming by fasting, by praying, by not walking in fear, by building our faith in God because we know He has us. Okay. But if we run in emotion only, or even if it's mixed with some faith, but we got caught up in emotion, we might leave those windows open going, it's okay. It ain't going to rain in here because I have the faith. Now you might. There is that possibility. I've seen things like that happen. It didn't come in. When that tornado hit here, we all prepared. We all ran to our spot and a place to hide in order not to be hit. I didn't run outside and stand out there and go, it'll never touch me. I did my part, and then my faith took from there. Do you see what I'm saying? I went into where I lived, and I was in an upper place, but in the basement I wouldn't have been able to breathe. And so I said, I can't go down there with you guys. You stay there. Now there's my faith in the storm. I'll do my part, but I can't do that. Now I need to have faith that God will protect me because I was up high. I was in the upper part of the house, which the tornado could have just wiped right out. But I stayed there in faith. And I laid down on the floor in the kitchen where there was two cupboards, one beside each other, so it was parallel. So if something fell on top of it, unless it was, some type of a branch that came down on me, it wouldn't touch me. I was in a place of safety. I was preparing, and I laid down, and then I just kept saying, Jesus, 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 just like that. Of course, yelling. The sound was horrible. It was this whirling wind. Woo, woo. Guess what it sounded like? Coming right by us. And the gusting winds and trees and all that stuff falling. You could hear it all. It was frightening. He let me go through it because he was there with me and knew I would be okay. It was prophesied through my mouth. It had to come to pass, but I did my part and I took protection where I felt led to go. Okay? And I'm hoping God will help me explain this in a way that's understandable. There's a difference in walking in pure faith and mixing too much emotion with it. And you could make the wrong choice. All right? But if you even have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move a mountain. All right? And so that does happen. If God told me, I want you to stand outside and watch that tornado and know that I've got you, I would do it. But there's wisdom. And we need to take counsel in the Lord and the Holy Spirit to guide us, and what God tells you to do is not necessarily what God's going to tell someone else to do. So I want you to be aware of this. And God's looking for our faith right now because faith can move mountains. But when I sat out there and was talking to my husband, he said, it needs to come with wisdom. Okay? And if you question it, just go to the Lord. What am I to do, God? Where's my faith at? Do I have the faith to believe for something so hard? Do I have the faith? And if I don't, God, forgive me and help me to have that type of faith like a child. And if I'm to do this or that with what's coming, tell me what I'm to do. Somebody else, God may say, I want you to move. There's a severe storm coming and in Florida, and you're going to have a tsunami and this and that, and I want you to move. And the other guy, he says, you stay there. I've got your back. God will be God. So we need the wisdom to seek him out and say, what do you want me to do? Okay? So I need to give you that word because to me, it's very important. Even these little golden nuggets can make a huge difference in someone's life. Have wisdom with your faith. Have wisdom with everything. We need wisdom. We need discernment. And we also need to have the faith of a child where we don't question God. We don't try to seek things out for ourselves or what to do, what's happening. We seek God. We make our relationship with him so strong that we know what he wants. And we have the wisdom to know the difference and the discernment to know the difference when it's God speaking and when it's not, when it's our emotions, when it's whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I hope this helps you. I will see you Thursday night. And more than you can bear. You know what, Albert? That's something that a lot of people say, and people say, well, I can't bear this. And you know what the Lord brought up a couple of days ago, actually, so it's cool you're saying that, is that God won't give you more than you can bear. And that's not necessarily true, because there again, it's what you can endure. It's your faith. It's okay, that kind of thing. But what he said was this: he doesn't give you more than what you can come against. In other words, the weapons of your warfare. You are a child of God. You have the authority to remove this. So when it comes, if you crumble and you don't take that authority and you don't have that faith to move it, then you will feel overcome by it. Does that make sense? Okay? You'll feel overcome by it, but you don't have to, because you have to take the authority God gave you. Okay? Yeah, that's what he said. And so sometimes we think we put God into a box like, well, he won't give me more than I can bear, so he's not going to make me go through this. And then he does. And you're like, what the heck? What happened? I don't understand, God. What did I do wrong? You didn't do nothing wrong. You just didn't have the fight in you to fight and put it in its place, to push back the demonic, to push back what has come against you. You know, like I said, I had a counseling session yesterday that the Lord showed up in. And he said to this person, your weakest point is your enemy's greatest strength, because now he's got a loophole to get in there. It doesn't have to be that way. Did God give her more than she can bear? No, but she hasn't fought it like she needs to. She hasn't applied the wisdom of God to it. She hasn't taken authority over it. And so God was saying to her, take the authority given you and push back this darkness, and you won't have this problem at all, not once. And so that's what I want to make clear to you guys. Okay. Now, tomorrow we have some things happening, and I'm going to be putting my communication in the microwave and unplug it, and anything else wrap in foil so that nothing can penetrate, like the blood of Christ, right? Now, to me, I feel okay about doing that. If you don't do it. Walk in pure faith and just let it go. The reason I feel like that I should do it is I'm preparing for the storm. And then I have the wisdom that God will take it from there, and the faith. Do you see what I'm saying? I have faith that God had us prepare for storms. God has us prepare for the winter. God has us to prepare for the harvest. And one thing he brought up when I was out there talking to him, God has his army prepare for war. He doesn't just say, throw on your clothes, let's go. We're going to run into the war. And we're just going to have total faith that everything's fine. God makes us fast. God makes us pray. God tells you to put on different armor, whatever it is. Okay? But your faith must come with it. But so does wisdom. Okay? So I hope this helps a lot of you. And, we have to be so careful now in these days what we say. I already had a strike come against me that will never leave for saying the V word. And it wasn't even a bad thing I said. But just because the V word was spoken, they put a strike. So you got to be really careful what you say in comments as well, guys, because it can come against you. And the one time I remember there was a video I did and someone said something they didn't like and they shut down comments on me. So, be really careful. We have to be wise. There again is your wisdom. Be wise. What to do, when to do it, everything. Okay? I love you, and I will see you on Thursday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you send your prayer request to wfgprayerrequest@yahoo.com. And whatever comes in from there until about 6:15 Thursday, Central Time, I will write down and have for prayer on Thursday night. And if you do it anywhere else, I might not remember where you wrote me. So it would be wiser. And I will do my very best, because it's important that all these prayers are prayed over, all these requests. So, okay, guys, I will see you later. God bless.